Hi, I'm Alex Innecco and this is ECAI's Musical Encyclopedia. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please. Today's word is cluster. Cluster. Well, if you speak English, you know that cluster. If you're here, probably speak English, huh? But if you speak English, you know that cluster can be a kind of a togetherness of anything, okay? If you put honey on oats, you have a oat cluster. If you have many people today, most people use cluster as a computer cluster, okay? But obviously in music, which is our subject here, we talk about tone cluster, a note cluster. So if we think of chords, what is a chord? A chord is 3 or more notes. We have one note, 2 notes, for example, C to E. That's an interval. It's not a chord. C to E is an interval. If I put a third note, which in this case I'll put a G, so C, E, G, I have, in this case, a major chord. Chord, okay? 3 or more notes. If I change this E to an E flat, I'll have a minor chord. Major chord, minor chord, okay? Or I can do C, E flat, and G flat, and I have a diminished chord. Dangerous, okay? So these chords were known in the Baroque, in the classical era, and obviously in the Romantic era. But in the end of the Romantic era, by the end of 19th century, with people like Debussy, for example, or Liszt, Franz Liszt, composers started experimenting with dissonant chords, with very dissonant chords. For example, Debussy thinks, what happens if I put, instead of C, E, G, I do C, D, E, and play that together. Mozart would say, well, this is not a chord, this is wrong. This is not music, okay? Of course, this is music, but Mozart didn't know it yet. I can do consecutive notes separated by half steps. So I can do C, C sharp, C sharp, D. English. Okay? It's a cluster. This dissonant chord is called a cluster. And it's 3 or more consecutive notes. So this is a cluster. A cluster. We always think of movies with, like horror movies with soundtracks. Clusters. But if we think of Claude Debussy, La Cathédrale Engloutie, I'm not sure how it translates into English, the submersed cathedral or something like that. I'm not sure. But Claude Debussy, La Cathédrale Engloutie, it uses clusters in a way that is so delicate, because Debussy is delicate, that you are not so scared. You don't become so scared of clusters. So what clusters bring is a new possibility, opens horizons for music, because we are now in the 20th century. We are now in the 21st century, but Debussy was in the end of the 19th century into the 20th century, where they were looking for new ways of making music. In something that Mozart wouldn't even consider becomes possible in the 20th century. Jazz music uses clusters all the time. So a dissonance is there to be resolved or not. Okay? This is ECAI's Musical Encyclopedia. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and explore other words in this list. Okay? They're all separated in alphabetical order. Playlist. Okay? Thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.